Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the CMA Show. My name is Devansh Gulabwani, and in this episode, we are going to talk about the section order or the order of covering sections, the order to complete sections of CMA Part 1 or Part 2, the order that I used basically. So most people ask that what should be the order to cover all sections, what should be the order to complete all the sections of CMA of a part 1 or part 2, right? So there is no such thing as an ideal order. It basically depends on you. You can go like section A, B, C, D, or you can start any section from anywhere. But if you ask me how I covered all of my sections for the CMA exam, is first of all, I started with section D, that is cost management for part 1 of the CMA exam. And part 1 of the CMA exam is financial planning, performance, and analytics. So for part 1, I started with section D, cost management. And cost management is nothing but a simple math. To be honest, I find section D to be easy and the questions are quite direct. Okay, it's a simple math, it's simple logical questions, nothing but calculations and direct questions. So I started with section D, and when solving section D, I immediately started to feel more interested in CMA. Okay, so after completing my section D, I felt confident, you know. And so I'd suggest if you are new, you should start with section D. Okay. By completing section D, you will feel confident that you will be able to do all sections with proper score and with reasonable amount of time. So I completed section D and I was quite good at section D. And I'm not bragging, but I was the one who used to solve doubts of other people when it comes to section D, because I enjoyed section D. I still enjoy section D. If I open books sometimes and people send me doubts and I solve it, I enjoy solving section D. It's very good section. So after completing my section D, I started to solve section C, that is performance management. Performance management is not very complex. It consists of variance analysis, transfer pricing, and other performance measures. Because there's one thing that you should always keep in mind about performance management section is it is quite important, because imagine you are learning the skill, you are learning the facts, the concepts that will help you to evaluate the performance, the manage the performance of an organization, of a company. How interesting it will be, you know. It was beautiful. Section C was also very good, and along with section D, I was quite good at section C as well. These were the two sections that I enjoyed most than any other sections. And these two sections, section D and section C, they are not quite vast. They cover few topics, you know, unlike section A. So we'll come to section A later, but for now, section D and section C are interesting. They are not very big, they are logical, reasonable, and they have direct questions most of the time. So after completing section C, the mistake that I did was starting section A. Section A is financial accounting, reporting, and financial statement measurement of the items of financial statements, you know, like accounts receivables, accounts payables, tangible assets, intangible assets, depreciation methods, leases, and fair value measurements, and income statement items, cash flow statement. It is very vast and it is very deep. Okay, Financial accounting and reporting has always been vast and very deep, because the components of balance sheet, the components of income statement have their own components. It's like a huge chain, okay? So it takes a lot of time to do section A properly. The inventory management, first in, first out, and um, specific identification, all methods concerned with inventory valuation, all of this, there are lots of concepts, there are lots of um, practical problem solving questions related to section A. So doing section A with good practice takes a lot of time, and also with reasonably good understanding excuse me, takes it takes some time, because section A is quite vast, okay? So I don't recommend you to jump onto section A immediately, because it will take some time. So meanwhile, what you can do is you can complete small sections, relatively smaller sections, like section D, C, or you can go for theoretical sections, okay? So after completing my section C, I started solving section A, and I was never able to complete section A in one go. Even when I'm solving section E, I used to open section A. Even when I'm solving section B, I used to open section A, because section A is again quite vast, okay? So section A was kind of on and off going during the entire journey of my CMA part 1. After completing reasonable stuff from section A and reasonable practice as well, what I did is I went for section B. Section B is planning, budgeting, and forecasting. Now, this section consists of theory and practicals as well, okay? And this section again is not very tough, it is easier to understand, and questions are also easier to do, not something of a big fuss. But the thing is, this section is big, it consists of 5 or 6 subsections. So yes, understanding and practicing all those subsections also require time, but relatively less time than section A, okay? So you'll be able to do section B time, but yes, it will require time because it is a big section. After completing section B, I went for the theoretical sections, that is section E and section F. Section E is internal controls, section F is data analytics. Now my mindset was, section E and F are theoretical, they'll be easier to solve, they'll be easier to do, I'll do them in one go, and I'll do good with these two sections. But I was wrong. Theoretical sections are big fast than practical sections. When I read section E and watched videos related to section E, it felt it's all easy. And there's just something that you need to remember about these sections, the components, the features, characteristics, and all that, and I'll be able to solve. But when I started to practice section E, it was whole another level of questions that they ask from these sections, because they won't be asking you directly, like which one is not the characteristic of good internal control system. They will give you case study, and that case study has to be solved with proper evaluation and analytics. Then only you will be able to answer it right, okay? So I was performing bad with internal controls, and my result was quite bad when I started to solving internal control MCQs. I had to give it some time, I had to practice a lot when practicing MCQs of internal controls. Somehow I completed internal controls, and section F bothered me the most. Questions were like out of nowhere, what I read in book. And that's the thing. They won't ask you directly. They will test your intelligence. I was good with practical questions, good with the question that ask you to calculate something. I was good with the questions that test your knowledge and all that. But the thing is, section F was something else. So again, I've had to practice section F a lot to get it right. Okay. So yeah, that's how I completed all of these sections. So one of the thing that you should keep in mind, don't take theoretical sections lightly. Theoretical sections are even, at above the level of practical sections, because theoretical sections sometimes it takes a while to understand what are they even asking when it comes to internal controls and data analytics. But with time, with practice, you'll get better. So don't waste time. Keep your concepts crisp and make sure you are practicing again and again. Okay, so that's all for today's video. And if there's one advice that I'll give you, that will be to always have a notebook, or always make notes when you're solving or when you're practicing MCQs, because when you're solving questions you'll come across some of the newer concepts, you'll come across some of the new facts, so you want to note it down. Okay, I have had a notebook in which I noted down all the newer things that I encountered while practicing MCQs. So that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching it till here. I'll see you in the next episode, and in next episode I'll tell you the order that I used for my CMA part 2. Okay, so make sure to like, subscribe and share this video with your study partner. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.